Yes, a very good afternoon to all of you. Yes, so today we are going to start with a new chapter, chapter number 7, from shelters to village settlement. So now in this lecture, we will be studying basically how the people of the ancient time started with the shelter. They started to protect themselves with the different climatic condition, the changes of the climate. They started to understand what kind of climate it is, and according to the climate, they started preparing their own shelter, and from the shelters they have evolved up to the village settlement. So in this chapter we are going to start with how they have shifted from the shelters, like starting में उन्होंने खुद को shelter लेने से जो उनका start हुआ, then how did they land up till village settlement. Okay, we are going to start with all this thing in this chapter. Let us begin. Okay, let's start. Introduction.
Chapter 7, From Shelters to Village Settlements. We shall learn about following points in this chapter: shelter, seasonal camps, and village settlements.
Yes, so in this chapter we are going to study about the shelter. First of all, as we say shelter, तो पहले टाइम के जो एंशियंट पीपल, जो स्टोन एज एंड ऑल द एजेस, जो बहुत पहले के जो लोग थे, दे वर जस्ट फाइंडिंग अ बेटर प्लेस टू हाइड देमसेल्फ फ्रॉम द एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड, फ्रॉम द एक्सट्रीम रेनिंग पार्ट, फ्रॉम द एक्सट्रीम हीट एंड एवरीथिंग. स्टार्टिंग में दे वर जस्ट फाइंडिंग अ प्रॉपर प्लेस, अ एडिक्वेट प्लेस फॉर देमसेल्फ टू हाइड समवेयर. कहीं ना कहीं जाके वो हाइड कर सके, ऐसे प्लेसेस वो ढूंढ रहे थे. After that, they landed up with a seasonal camp. According to the seasons, they used to change their places of living. जैसे बहुत extreme cold होगा, तो they used to find a place like caves. अगर वहाँ पे what we can say, अगर बहुत summers है, तो they used to find something around shady part. तो accordingly ना, according to the seasons, they used to live under different camps. Okay, ऐसे करते करते evolve होते finally they became as the village settlements. Okay, 1 second. Okay, Priya is writing not visible. Wait a second, let me check. Is everything visible to you? Yes, are the things visible to you? Please check. Okay. Fine. Yes, please tell me whether the things are visible to you or not. Yes, please. Now it is visible. Thank you very much. Now let's start.
7, From Shelters to Village Settlements.
Yes.
We shall learn about following points in this chapter: shelter, seasonal camps, and village settlements.
Okay, so in this chapter we are going to
Shelter.
start with these things.
In the
Yes,
fifth
let's start with the
lesson,
first one.
We saw that the Neanderthals lived mainly in caves. At that time, The climate in Europe was extremely cold.
Yes. So as we all know that in the very ancient time, the climate of the Europe was not was extremely cold. So what they used to do is they used to find some proper shelter for themselves. So the best way to hide themselves when it is already जहाँ पे snow है, तो उस time पे even if you build a tent, tent means the places which are made up of clothes, right? So tent बना दिया या कुछ hut बनाया, कुछ भी बनाया, तो उतना वो bearable what we can say कि उतना ह्यूमन बींग्स वो क्लाइमेट को बेयर नहीं कर पाते थे बिकॉज एज इट वॉज वेरी मच स्नो एंड एवरीथिंग सो व्हाट दे यूज्ड टू डू इज दे यूज्ड टू लिव इन द केव्स फाइन दे यूज्ड टू लिव इन द केव्स सो दैट वो खुद को प्रोटेक्ट कर सके फ्रॉम एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड ओके यस नाउ प्लीज पे अटेंशन
The Neanderthals could protect themselves from the freezing, where freezing means very cold temperatures, because they wore leather clothing and made use of fire.
Yes. So, and the other way of making themselves cold is कि जैसे what we can say कि first of all they thought कि अगर हमको इस ठंडी से या freezing cold जो बहुत extreme है now snowfall हो रहा है मतलब you can imagine कि वहाँ पे क्या temperature होगा तो they were thinking of saving themselves from this cold. So what they used to do is they used to protect themselves by using the cave. Cave के अंदर खुद को hide करके like cave को एक form of shelter बना के they used to live there and they used to protect themselves from the extreme cold. Secondly, अगर वो तो एक part हुआ ही, then they used to make use of the leather clothings. Now, the leather clothings are the things which are the clothes which are made with the help of the animal skin, leather. Okay, so animal skin. After hunting an animal, उसका flesh वेश खाने का because that was the main staple. उनका तभी का खाना वही होता था. Primarily, they were dependent upon the animals. Then वो animals का जो skin है जो animal का skin है they used to use it as the form of the coatings मतलब खुद को कुछ पहनने के लिए they used to use it as the animal clothing. Also this is the second part how they used to protect themselves from this freezing cold and the thirdly they used to make use of the fire. As you can see here fire का invention हुआ and then whenever they used to find themselves very cold जब उनको समझता था कि यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडी है तो firstly they used to live in the shelters secondly they used to make use of the leather things and thirdly they used to make use of the fires.
Perhaps that was not enough. That is why they also used animal hides, where animal hide means animal skin, to erect, where erect means to build tents inside the caves for warmth.
Okay, so इतना सब करके भी they used to not find themselves warm to that extent. So what they used to do is they used to use the animal skin to build the tents. Can you see the tents over here? See, can you see the tents over here? Yes. So what they used to do is they used to make use of the animal skin. Like animal का जो skin है after hunting an animal, after having all the useful necessary part of that animal, उसका जो स्किन है उसका भी उन लोग क्या कर रहे थे उसका यूज कर रहे थे टू फॉर्म द टेंट्स ओके सो दे वर यूजिंग द एनिमल हाइड्स टू बिल्ड टेंट्स इनसाइड द केव्स फॉर द वार्मथ द ओनली मोटिव वाज कि उनको कितना ज्यादा वार्मथ मिल सके ऐसे ओके
Wherever necessary, they also built huts in the open.
Yes, can you see this? Now, depending upon the climate and depending upon the necessity of the human being, उनके necessity पे और वहाँ के climate पे what they used to do is they used to also build the huts in the open. जैसे हमने caves का सुना कि they used to live in the caves for the warmth. They used to make use of the skin of the animals for the tent. Similarly, whenever they used to feel necessary, जब भी उनको वो necessity लगती थी तब उन लोग क्या build करते थे? They used to build the hut in the open places. Okay, now please pay attention.
Seasonal camps. In the Middle Stone Age, groups of Homo sapiens had established camps, where camps means a place with Homo sapiens stayed temporary in huts and tents all over the world.
Yes. So now, when we were talking about the एकदम ancient Stone Age, मतलब starting of the Stone Age, we're talking about the Middle Stone Age. Middle Stone Age के time पे सब Homo sapiens, what they used to do is they used to establish a camp. Now, what does camp mean? A place with Homo sapiens stayed temporarily in tents and huts and tent. Okay. तो होमो सेपियंस इन द मिडिल स्टोरेज व्हाट दे यूज्ड टू डू इज दे यूज्ड टू मेक श्योर कि सब होमो सेपियंस दे यूज्ड टू लिव टुगेदर दे यूज्ड टू वेरेवर दे यूज्ड टू लिव अपनी अपनी फैमिलीज का अलग अलग हट बना के अलग अलग टेंट बना के they used to live together. Now what was the necessity of staying together? Primarily the main motive was कि अगर कोई भी huge animal या कोई भी attack हो जाता है किसी से भी तो they are sufficient enough कि इतने लोग हैं कि एक दूसरे की मदद कर सके and they used to feel very safe. Safety उनका था कि they used to feel very safe when they used to live this all together. So in the middle stone age, now see old, middle and new. So in the middle stone age, the Homo sapiens, the group of the Homo sapiens has established the camps. Can you see the tents and camps nearby? Yes, they used to establish the camp. Camp is nothing but just a tent or hut जैसे होते हैं या फिर tents होते हैं all over the world. In all over the world, the Homo sapiens, how they used to live? They used to live in the group. And what is the major cause of this? They used to make sure कि वहाँ पे कोई भी type का safety या कोई भी type का जो उनको safety purpose से जो लगता था, they used to do that. So again I repeat, in the middle stone age, the group of the Homo sapiens had established camps all over the world, where camps means a place with Homo sapiens stayed temporary in huts and tent. तो वो temporarily hut और tent में रहते थे. See, can you see this tent? Can you see this hut? Yes. Okay. Now let's pay attention.
At that time, the climate was getting warmer.
Yes. So as we all know कि जो एकदम starting में at the start जो भी climate था, it is not necessary that the same climate अभी तक no. As the evolution went on, जैसे जैसे evolution होते गया, climatic condition change होते गए, climate began to get warmer and everything. So वहाँ पे कुछ particular ऐसे animals थे जो उस climate के साथ suitable थे, but as the climate began to change and change and change, तो वो जो एनिमल्स है वो भी उस न्यू क्लाइमेट के साथ सुटेबल नहीं हो पाए तो मेनी ऑफ द एनिमल्स डाइड उनका जो पूरा एनिमल है वो वहां पे बचे ही नहीं फॉर एग्जांपल डायनासोर्स लाइक दे यूज्ड टू लिव इन अ पर्टिकुलर एटमॉस्फेयर राइट सो एज द क्लाइमेट वेंट ऑन चेंजिंग एंड चेंजिंग एंड चेंजिंग तो एवरीथिंग गॉट चेंज राइट सो यहाँ पे भी यही है कि एट दैट टाइम द क्लाइमेट वाज गेटिंग वार्मर तो पहले जितना एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड उनको फेस करना पड़ता था उतना एक्सट्रीम कोल्ड नहीं था सो एट दैट टाइम द क्लाइमेट वाज गेटिंग वार्मर
Everywhere, the environment was changing. And with it, the diet of Homo sapiens was also undergoing change. By the time of the Middle Stone Age, big animals like mammoths, where mammoths means large extinct elephants with long curved tusks, were on the way to extinction due to the changing environment and also because they were hunted on a very large scale.
Yes. So big animals like the mammoths were on the way to extinct due to the change in the environment. तो जैसे मैंने just आपको बोला ना due to the change of the environment many of the animals were on the way to extinct मतलब जैसे dinosaur you will never find even a single dinosaur because they are extinct now fine तो ऐसे बहुत सारे animals थे जो way towards the extinct हो रहे थे उसके reason जैसे you can say due to the change of the environment the new environment was not suitable for their kind ठीक है तो उनका जैसा kind था उस हिसाब से वो जो न्यू एटमॉस्फेयर है वो उतना सुटेबल नहीं था ओके एंड ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन इज ऑल्सो दैट बिकॉज दे वर हंटेड ऑन अ वेरी लार्ज स्केल सो एट अ वेरी लार्ज स्केल दे वर हंटिंग got hunted and also the change in the atmosphere can you see this yes the big elephants with the tusk मतलब जो outer teeth होता है ना तो tusk जो है वैसे curved shape का जो tusk है वो वाले animals elephants okay yes please pay attention
that is why Homo sapiens had largely turned to fishing
yes now as जैसे we know that there are only way of food या only way of primarily they were totally based upon the flesh of the other animal. वो अलग animal जो other animals है उनको वो खाते थे. So now as you can see because of the change of the weather and everything, majority जो animals है they got extinct way towards the extinct. So what they did, उनको तभी plant based food ये सब नहीं पता था. They was totally dependent upon the animals only, the flesh of the animals. So at that time the Homo sapiens has largely turned towards the fishing part. तो उन लोग बहुत ज़्यादा way में कहाँ चले गए? Fishing के towards चले गए. Okay, fine. Can you see all these things? Yes. Okay. Now pay attention.
He also began to depend more on hunting smaller animals like the wild boar, deer, mountain goat, and sheep.
Yes. So also जैसे huge and big animals were no more. So what they did first of all they moved जो उनका जो focus था they moved towards the fishing. Fishing में you know as we have plenty and ample of fishes throughout the oceans तो वो अलग अलग way से fishing करते थे so that they can fulfill that need of the food. ठीक है. And secondly what they used to do is as they were totally dependent upon hunting they began to depend upon or they began to hunt the smaller wild animals. ठीक है. तो जैसे wild boar हो गया, then deer हो गया, then mountain goat हो गया, then sheep हो गया. तो ये सब animals को as they were small they started hunting them. Okay.
The changed diet pattern enabled the groups of Homo sapiens to roam to faraway regions.
Yes. So the change in the diet pattern. तो जैसे first of all, as they were totally dependent upon the flesh, तो जैसे उन्होंने fishing. When you say fishing, you have to be nearby the river. तुमको river के nearby रहना पड़ेगा अगर तुम्हारा पूरा का पूरा जो diet pattern है, it is totally dependent upon the fishes. But now as they had different options, जैसे roots हो गए या फिर plant based हो गया या fruits हो गया, तो ये सब चीजों पे they moved their attention from the flesh of the animal towards a plant based food. ठीक है. प्लांट बेस्ड फूड पे भी उनका थोड़ा फोकस चला गया. तो ना बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चेंज इन द डाइट पैटर्न तो जैसे उनका डाइट पैटर्न चेंज हो गया बिकॉज ऑफ दिस change in the diet pattern this enabled the group of the homo sapiens to roam to far away regions. So now as they were knowing कि हाँ हम कोई roots या फिर कोई vegetables या फिर कोई fruits ये सब भी हम खा सकते हैं तो leafy vegetables and everything. So what they felt the necessity of living near the fish is no more. तो अब और जैसे river bank के नजदीक रहना ही जरूरी होना चाहिए या जंगल में where you can find deers, where you can find goat, where you can find sheep वहां पे होना चाहिए ऐसे जरूरी नहीं है. तो what they started doing they started to roam far away regions. Now they used to explore, they started exploring things और वो यहाँ वहाँ roam करने लगे. roam as in थोड़ा और interior of the regions में वो घूमने लग गए. Okay, because they knew कि जैसे हम जाएंगे forest तो होगा ही तो वहां पे कुछ ना कुछ roots, fruits, vegetables, leafy vegetables कुछ ना कुछ as the form of the food तो मिल ही जाएगा. Okay, yes.
They moved their camps to different places according to seasonal changes.
Now, this is very important that they move their camps to different places according to the seasonal changes. Now, as the season changes, ना जैसे rain हो गया, तो rain के time पे if you're having a house or if you're building a place to live with the help of the cloth या कुछ ऐसे just tent बांध दोगे, तो it is not possible. It is not possible for you to survive under such an extreme rain. Okay, so depending upon the changes तो उन्होंने अलग अलग ऑब्जर्वेशन किया एंड डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द चेंजेस इन द क्लाइमेट तो क्लाइमेट कैसे चेंज हो रहा है या सीजन्स कैसे चेंज हो रहे हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग उन्होंने क्या किया उन्होंने अपना जो कैंप है प्लेस ऑफ लिविंग है वो भी वो मूव करते रहे. जैसे अगर रेनी है तो यू कांट जस्ट बी नियर द रिवर बैंक और डायरेक्ट ग्राउंड पे नहीं तो कहीं पे तुमको ट्री हाउस बांधना पड़ेगा या कोई केव में जाना पड़ेगा या कोई माउंटेनस पे जहाँ पे पूरा जो पानी है वो फ्लो हो जाएगा. इट शुड नॉट स्टैग्नेंट मतलब वो एक ही जगह पे भर नहीं जाना चाहिए काइंड ऑफ चीज है. ओके यस.
There they harvested seasonal wild grains and gathered seasonal fruits and roots.
Yes. So वहाँ पे as they started wandering from one place to other, they started roaming from the interior part. तो उनको जो land की availability, land का fertility और seasons के according what they started to do is they started to harvest the seasonal wild grains. तो जैसे grains we are having right now, तो they started harvesting, मतलब sowing of the seed, then the crops हो जाते हैं, then उसको harvest करके उनमें से grain निकालना and everything and everything and everything. They started doing all this thing. So basically they started harvesting the seasonal wild grains and gathered seasonal fruits and roots, which means the roots, जो हमारे roots अलग अलग roots which we have in the form of the food, तो उन लोग वो सब क्या कर रहे थे, harvest करना start कर दिया था.
They would find out the best seasons for fishing and use the knowledge to their advantage.
Yes, so they would find out the best seasons for fishing and use the knowledge to their advantage. Okay, so what it is written is कि जैसे उनको पता था कि best season for fishing क्या है, like for example if it is rainy season तो कौन सा high tide, कौन सा low tide, कौन सा time पे fishing होना चाहिए, what are the different techniques used for fishing. अगर single fish है तो you can use such kind of spears and everything. जैसे दिख रहा है ना आपको कि पूरे wood के ऊपर एक कोई भी sharp चीज है उसको just tie किया गया from the leather thread or something like that and they are using it for fishing. Okay, so this kind of thing can also be done. Also what you can do is you can make use of the net so that at time पे बहुत सारे fishes तुमको मिल जाएंगे and so such things उन्होंने अलग अलग way अलग अलग खुद का knowledge use कर करके ये सब चीजें क्या कर दी थी, find out किया था. Okay, yes.
By observation, they discovered the best hunting grounds.
Yes, now this is very important that by the observation they discovered the best hunting grounds. Now what do you mean by the hunting grounds? जैसे as we know that जो hunting पे ज़्यादा like they which have more experience या more observation in this hunting thing, they know कि at so and so particular time animal comes, जो भी अपना एक जंगल होता है, they know that वहाँ पे एक pond है, वहाँ पे पानी मिलेगा, तो पूरे दिन में जो भी एनिमल है वो वंस इन वाइल तो पानी पीने आएगा ही, तो वो उनका ऑब्जर्वेशन था क्योंकि ये पॉन्ड है तो इस पॉन्ड के यहाँ पे सब एनिमल्स तो आने ही वाले पानी पीने के लिए, तो दे यूज्ड टू हाइड समवेयर इन बिटवीन द श्रब्स एंड एवरीथिंग. और वहां पे जैसे उनको जो जैसे डियर हो गया या शिप हो गया या वाइल्ड शिप हो गया, ये बोर हो गया वाइल्ड बोर, ठीक है, तो ये सब जो एनिमल्स है अगर वो वहां पे वाटर पीने या पानी पीने आते थे तो दे यूज्ड टू हंट. So basically man began to use your brain, the man began to use the observation and according to all this observation and everything he began to discover the best hunting grounds. तो वो अपने hunting पे depend. Okay, yes, please pay
Grounds
attention.
means places.
Yes, I hope everything is clear to everyone. Yes.
For these reasons, they stayed in one place for longer periods.
Yes. So now the only motive was to have food. ठीक है, तो अब तुमको अगर ऑब्जर्वेशन लेना है कि यहाँ पे कौन से टाइम पे कौन सा एनिमल है, तो one day is not sufficient for you to understand कि क्या कौन सा एनिमल किधर है क्या है ये, तो you need to live for a very long period of time on a same place. तो उन लोग भी वही करते हैं कि एक same place पे they used to live for a long period of time and according to that ना कि एक ही place पे वो बहुत long period of time वहाँ पे रुके, तो they used to understand the things कि yes कि यहाँ पे animals है या यहाँ पे कोई birds है या कोई जो भी उनका sort of interest है उस animal को वहाँ पे देख लिया, तो they used to hunt that thing. So for this reason what happened, they used to started staying at one place for a long period of time. जैसे initially they used to just wander, they used to just roam. आज यहाँ पे रुक गए, कहीं दूसरी जगह, कहीं दूसरी जगह, कहीं दूसरी जगह. But now what they did was they started living at one place for a long period of time. Okay? Yes.
They cleared jungles by felling trees and set up their seasonal camps in the clearings.
Yes. So now what happened is at the initial stages, all over the land, जितना भी land है, you will just find any kind of trees, any kind of herbs, any kind of shrubs, any kind of climbers, कुछ भी type of any type of trees या plants जो है वो grow कर रहे थे. Now they were finding it very difficult for themselves to live in the cave. Cave में भी आप कितनी बार रहोगे, या आप अगर टेंट भी बांध रहे हो तो कितनी बार होगे. Then they made use कि अच्छा ये जो land है ना, we need to clear this land, and once we can clear this land, we can set our own camps and everything. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने सोच लिया था कि ऐसे जगह पे we can set the camps. तो how to clear the land? So then they realized कि जो trees है, तो what we will do is एक particular part of the जो land है उसको we will clear it. That means we will cut down the trees. So yes, the cutting down of trees वहां से start हुआ, and they started cutting down the trees. उसी trees का wood लेके what they did was they started building the houses for themselves. So see what is it? They cleared the jungles by felling trees and set up their seasonal camps in the clearings. So वो देखिए, can you see? You can find a ample of trees. See how huge the trees are, but at a particular place what they're doing is that they have just cleared it. Also उनके जो domestic animals है वो भी उन्होंने रखे हैं, and they have just cleared the whole camp, and in this clearing जहाँ पे clear कर चुके हैं वहाँ पे they are setting their seasonal camps. Okay, yes.
Village settlements. The way of life.
Now, as we have completed with the shelter part, everything, now we will understand what is village settlement. Okay, now please pay attention.
Life of humans in the New Stone Age was completely different from that of humans in the Old Stone Age and Middle Stone Age.
Yes. So the way of the life of the humans in the new Stone Age, as we all know, full Stone Age has been divided into three: the old one, the middle one, and the new one. So जैसे you can see the old Stone Age, you can see it clearly see, and you can also see the middle Stone Age. So ये middle old Stone Age और middle Stone Age से जो human beings new Stone Age पे थे, they were completely different. They were extremely different. They started using their observation, they started using their skills, they started using their brain, they started using, they shifted their dependency on the animals to the plant based food. तो उनका food पे जो dependency था वो भी change हो गया. So basically पूरे तरीके से देखा जाएगा, so the way of life of human beings in the new Stone Age was totally different from the one in the old Stone Age and the middle Stone Age. Okay, as we can all agree on this, that yes, we agree on this, that the people who were living in the new Stone Age, they had a completely different idea, they had a completely different type of shelter. They started इन्वेस्टिंग द टाइम, जो टाइम है उसमें कुछ ना कुछ ग्रेन हार्वेस्ट करते थे, या कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंट डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ चीजें, जैसे फिशिंग हो गया, फिशिंग में भी दे हैड डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टेक्निक्स. दे हैड द सीजन फॉर फिशिंग, हंटिंग के लिए दे यूज्ड टू यूज द ऑब्जर्वेशन कि कौन सा एनिमल कहाँ आ रहा है. तो बेसिकली वी कैन एग्री ऑन दिस पॉइंट दैट yes, the people or the lifestyle of the humans in the new Stone Age was completely different from that of the humans in the old Stone Age and the middle Stone Age. Now please pay attention.
During this period, humans became producers of food grains.
Yes. So now, as I have told you, primarily their main concern for food was animal. But after that, they understood, और उनको एक food के through भी उनका plant based foods भी मिलने लग गए थे. So now they have shifted their concern from the animal based food to the plant based food. And देखते during the period, human began to produce the food grains. तो ये food grains उन लोग produce करने लगे बहुत ही large scale पे. Okay.
The beginning of cultivation is a characteristic of the culture of the New Stone Age.
Yes, the beginning of the cultivation, जैसे पहले से food grains, then different fruits, then different crops, ये सब जो cultivation होने लग गया था ना, so this beginning of the cultivation, for example, if you're liking of fruit, so what you will think, same fruit पे पूरा जो मैं piece of plant है उस सब पे मैं same, जब आप practice करते हो ना ये kind of cultivation, it is called as a, ऐसे kind of farming, it is called as a cultivation. You start cultivating a single fruit throughout the piece of land, or you start cultivating a single vegetable throughout the piece of land. तो ये सब जब आप करते हो, when you will do all these things, fine. So this is the characteristic of the culture of the New Stone Age. तो New Stone Age का सबसे बड़ा characteristic था. Can you see the vines over? See, can you see this grapes over here and the see? You can see they're using their foot to get the juice out of this and everything. Okay. Yes.
In the hunting and gathering way of life, it is necessary to keep moving all the time. However, agriculture makes it possible to store food and use it over a longer period.
यस, तो जैसे पहले उनका हंटिंग एंड हंटिंग ऑफ द एनिमल्स, हंटिंग ऑफ द फिशेस, तो इसकी वजह से व्हाट दे यूज्ड टू डू इज दे हैड टू कंप्लीटली मूव फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अदर, कॉन्स्टेंटली मूविंग फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर एंड एवरीथिंग केम. So however, agriculture made it possible to store the food and use it for a longer period of time. Now, as we all know that once we are cultivating something or once we are doing the cultivation of the grains या ऐसा कुछ जब होता है, तो what we can do, even if we are getting the output या even after harvesting the grain, you can store the grain at a proper place for a longer period of time. तो उनको हर दिन hunting या हर दिन की कौन सा plant based food या कौन सा ये सोचने नहीं पड़ता था. So they what they used to do is agriculture made it possible for them to cultivate at a time and they can store the food for a longer period of time, जैसे कि अभी हम कर रहे हैं. Okay.
Hence, there is no need to keep moving constantly.
So the dependency on moving or the dependency on finding the animal for hunting or finding a pond for fishing, ये जो उनका dependency है ना वो कम हो गया था. So anyhow वो जो एक place से दूसरे place पे wander भी कर रहे थे. So the main motive behind that was the food. तो अब जैसे उनको पता चल गया है कि agriculture can be a way possible जहाँ पे हम क्या कर सकते हैं, we can cultivate farming, हम farming करके we can get the food grains and that can be stored for a longer period of time. तो जैसे उनको ये सब चीजें पता चल गई थी, so there was no need of constantly moving here and there. Okay, so what is written, hence there is no need to keep moving constantly.
Exercises. Question 1.
Once again.
Village settlements.
Okay.
The way of life of humans in the New Stone Age was completely different from that of humans in the Old Stone Age and Middle Stone Age. During this period, humans became producers of food grains. The beginning of cultivation is a characteristic of the culture of the New Stone Age. In the hunting and gathering way of life, it is necessary to keep moving all the time. However, agriculture makes it possible to store food and use it over a longer period. Hence, there is no need to keep moving constantly. Moreover, the nature of agricultural work made it necessary to stay in one place.
Yes, so as we all know that when it comes to the agriculture work, तो जब भी आपका agriculture based work होगा तो it is very important and it is very necessary for you to stay at one place. Like if I decide कि ये place मेरा है, तो अब ये मेरा place है, and if I want to do cultivation or if I want to practice any farming kind of thing on that piece of land, I can't keep on moving everywhere. मुझे उसी place के नजदीक रहना पड़ेगा. या ऐसा नहीं कि I will sell the land और वापस कहीं और जगह जाऊंगी और वापस वहां पे कहीं खरीद लूंगी, फिर again next year कहीं और जाऊंगी. No, I will not do this. So when it comes to agriculture, the nature of the agriculture work is that way that it is very important for you to stay at one place. एक जगह पे रह के you have to do the cultivation, you have to do all sorts of farming work depending and staying at one place only. Okay?
Therefore, people established permanent village settlements and lived in them generation after generation.
Yes. So now they understood कि yes, यहीं पे हमको हमेशा रहना है, हमको यही agriculture हमेशा करना है. Same piece of land we have to use. So what they started doing is they started building a permanent settlements. Can you see the permanent settlements here? See the permanent settlements over here. Yes. So people started establishing the permanent settlements like villages and lived in them generation after generation, like one generation to next generation to next generation to next generation. उसी settlements में they used to live. Now thing is that yes, they can बोलते ना कि उस जो settlement है उसको और अच्छे से भी कर सकते हैं, like repairing of the thing, maintaining the settlements, ये सब चीजें कर रहे थे, but moving from one place to another has been stopped. ठीक है? Now
In the next lesson, We shall review the social organization and the culture of these village settlements.
Yes, in the next lecture, we will be studying about the social organization and the culture of this village settlement. Okay, so I just hope everyone is clear with what are exactly the shelters, like how they moved from the shelters to the village settlements. Yes. Now let's move on to the objective
Question
text.
1. Answer each of the following questions in one sentence.
Yes, now I want everyone to answer it correctly.
1. Which animals did the Homo sapiens mainly hunt? Answer.
Yes. Let me see who can give me the correct answer. The question is, which animal did the Homo sapiens mainly hunt? So can you all name the animals which the Homo sapiens mainly hunt? Yes, I want to see the answer. Yes, let's see. Yes, Sachin, Satish, Sonali.
The Homo sapiens mainly hunted small animals like the wild bear, deer, mountain goat, and sheep.
And ships, correct. You can also give the example as the wild bear, or then the mountain goats, deers, ships. Yes, you're correct, correct. Fishes, yes.
2. What is the characteristic of the New Stone Age?
Yes, can anyone tell me the characteristic of the new Stone Age? Okay, fine. Let's see.
Answer. The beginning of cultivation is a characteristic of the New Stone Age.
Yes, so the idea of cultivating the food grains, so the beginning of this cultivation, जब उन्होंने cultivation करना शुरू किया, that was the characteristic of the new Stone Age. As we all know that the whole Stone Age has been divided into three: the Old Stone Age, the Middle Stone Age, and the New Stone Age. So the characteristic of the New Stone Age is the beginning of the cultivation. Like right from the New Stone Age, the importance of cultivating food grains and dependency on the farming, everything started. So yes, the beginning of the cultivation is the characteristic of the new Stone Age. Okay, now
Question 2. Give reasons for the following. 1. The diet of the Homo sapiens underwent a change. Answer. 1. The climate underwent change and became warmer. 2. Big animals like mammals were on the way to extinction. Therefore, the diet of the Homo sapiens underwent a change.
yes, so see, the first question, give reason for the question. The diet of the Homo sapien went under a change. So how, like, what was the reason? क्या reason था कि ये जो Homo sapiens है that they change their diet completely? The first, very most important thing was change in the climate. The climate began to get warmer and warmer, so the change in the climate and the warmth in the climate had made it possible for the change of the diet of the Homo sapiens. Secondly, big animals like the mammals were on the way to extinct. उनका जो change in the climate है that was not suitable for them, so they were on the way to extinct. Like उनका जो पूरा जो what we can say, the whole kind of big animals like mammals, they were about to end, basically we can say end. So therefore the diet of the Homo sapiens went under a change. Okay, yes.
2. The Homo sapiens stayed in one place over a longer period of time.
Yes, now what was the reason?
1. It was no longer necessary to wander from place to place in search of food. 2. They moved their camps to different places according to seasonal changes in climate. Thus, the Homo sapiens stayed in one place over a longer period of time.
Yes. So now, initially, when the Homo sapiens used to move from one place to another, उसके पीछे क्या मोटिव था? उसके पीछे एक ही मोटिव था that they were in search of food कि अच्छा हाँ यहाँ पे एक डियर को मार लिया, अब नेक्स्ट कहाँ है, तो चलो और थोड़ा आगे जाते हैं, we will search for animal, we will go and search for animal. तो ये मोटिव से they used to move from one place to another. But now as in search of food, उनको food का जो as we have studied that the characteristic of the new stone age was the cultivation of the crops. तो जैसे उनको एक फूड का एक कंफर्मेटिव मिल गया, तो देयर वर नो नीड ऑफ मूविंग फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर ओनली इन सर्च ऑफ फूड. सिर्फ फूड को सर्च करने के लिए इट वाज नॉट एट ऑल कंपल्सरी फॉर यू टू मूव फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अदर. सो सी व्हाट इज रिटन, इट वाज नो लॉन्गर नेसेसरी टू वॉन्डर फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अदर इन सर्च ऑफ फूड. तो फूड के सर्च के लिए इट वाज नॉट एट ऑल कंपल्सरी फॉर देम टू मूव. देन they moved their camps to different places according to the seasonal change in climate. As I have told you that depending upon the climatic condition, what they used to do is they used to move their place. So जहाँ पे भी वो रहते थे they used to move it, okay, from one place to other. Thus the Homo sapiens stayed in one place over a long period of time, and because of this thing what happened that they meant to stay at one place for a longer period of time, क्योंकि जो उनका cultivation है वो एक piece of land पे होता था, and they used to know that this is the only piece of land. Okay, yes. Now let's move on to the next one.
Question 3. Observe the reconstructed picture of a Middle Stone Age seasonal camp and answer the following. 1. Describe the structure of the houses in the picture. Answer. The roof is inclining and is of thatched grass. 2. What materials are used to construct the houses? Answer. Grass and wood have been used to construct the houses. 3. What are the jobs that people in the seasonal camps have been doing? Answer. The people at the seasonal camps were engaged in fishing, agriculture, hunting, and making small boats.
Yes. So now as we have to answer the following questions of the Middle Stone Age. Now the Old Stone Age, the Middle Stone Age and the New Stone Age. Fine. So now as they have asked you, describe the structure of the houses in the middle of the houses in the picture. So describing the structure of the houses, so as we can see that they have to move from one place to other. तो उनका जो settlements they were not permanent, they were temporary. So the roof is inclining and they are made of thatched grass. So grass के पूरे ऐसे huts बांधते थे, full of grass and everything made a formed a roof, और वो roof के according उन लोग अपना अलग अलग hut या house build करते थे. Then what material are used to construct the houses? Now grass and wood has been used to construct the houses. So as we all know that as it was a temporary house that they wanted to move from one place to other in the search of food. Why? Because we are talking about the Middle Stone Age and not about the New Stone Age. ठीक है, तो मिडिल स्टोन एज के जो पीपल थे उनको एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मूव करना ही था, तो दे नेवर फेल्ट अंडर कि हमको एक प्रॉपर व्हाट वी कैन से दैट वी हैव टू बिल्ड permanent house. They always felt the necessity of building a temporary house kind of thing, that yes, they built a temporary house using the grass, wood and everything used to construct it. Now what are the jobs that people in the seasonal camp have been doing? So people in the seasonal camp were depending upon fishing, agriculture, making, hunting and making small boats.
Question 4.
Okay,
Write about the effects on your life of the seasonal changes in weather. Answer. 1. The seasonal changes in weather result in changes in my clothing. I wear warm clothes during winter and light cotton clothes in summer.
yes. So now this changes in the weather. When it comes to the changing in the weather, that we all know that the first change that we see in ourselves in day-to-day life is that the dependency of the cloth depending upon the weather. Okay, तो अगर बहुत ही ज़्यादा ठंड, like yes it is winters going on and if you feel it warm, that the first thing which you wear is a sweater. So what we wear, all types of warm clothes, जो भी हमको warmth देगा उस type के जो भी warm clothes है, yes we wear it during the winter. And talking about the summer, as it is totally hot and we feel very sweat and every kind of thing, so what we think that we prefer having a breathable clothes. Okay, so we try wearing what I can say, cotton clothes. We try wearing a cotton clothes, light color cotton clothes.
2. The seasonal changes in climate make me sick sometimes and I am forced to take medicines.
Now this totally depends upon the immunity power of from person to person. Like when there is a sudden and climatic changes, so what happens is that yes, your system get confused between different things and you can fall sick and you need to take medicines in order to get to recover from the condition.
Exercises. Question 1. Clothing. I wear warm clothes during winter and light cotton clothes in summer. 2. The seasonal changes in climate make me sick sometimes and I am forced to take medicines. 3. I cannot go out and play games with my friends in the rainy season.
Yes, as we all know, the
Question
main
5.
thing that we
Compare
can't
the
go
New
out
Stone
in
Age
the
village with a modern
rainy
village.
seasons.
Answer. 1. New Stone Age village was primitive as it was an early village settlement. Modern village is much developed as it underwent many changes over a period of time. 2. New Stone Age village was in remote areas and had no contact with the outside world. Modern villages are well connected with the outside world with the means of transport and communication. 3. In New Stone Age village, human beings lived in huts. In modern village, human beings live in constructed houses. 4. In New Stone Age village, agriculture, animal husbandry, and fishing were the main activities of the villagers. In modern village, besides agriculture, animal husbandry, and fishing, many other activities are undertaken by the villagers with the help of machines.
Yes. So now comparing the new Stone Age villages and the modern villages, like the one which we are having nowadays in the village. So depending, see, first of all, when we are talking about the new Stone Age villages, so new Stone Age villages was primitive as it was early village settlement. So बहुत सारा what we can say developed नहीं था, बहुत सारे changes अलग थे. Like they had no idea as that was a first time that they were forming a village settlement, fine. So the new Stone Age का जो village का जो settlements है, it was primitive as compared to that of the modern villages. Now talking about the modern villages is much developed as it underwent many changes over a period of time. So now जैसे जैसे हमको समझ में आता है कि अच्छा ये चीज की ये जरूरत है या ये चीज का वो जरूरत है, we keep on making changes, and changes करते 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 finally we have landed up with this that it has been developed and all the changes depending upon the period of time. जैसे changes we felt necessary, we made all the kind of changes. Now, New Stone Age village was in the remote area and had no contact outside the whole world. But the modern villages are well connected with the outside world with the means of transports and communication. So the new Stone Age का जो village है, it was very remote as in we had no contact with one another, बहुत ही remote area था. But talking about the modern villages settlement, so this village settlements are well connected with the outside world and also they have a different means of transport as well as different means of communication. Now, talking about the human beings lived in hut. At that time, the human being lived in hut as they wanted to move from one place to another, something like that. And they were not used to most of the permanent houses के concept से. So, human beings live in the constructed house. Now, talking about the people in the modern village, now the human beings started living in the constructive houses. अच्छा खासा जो constructed houses है, उसमें उन लोग live करते हैं. Now, agriculture, animal husbandry and fishing were the main activities of the villages. तो यहाँ पे जो villagers की जो main activity थी that was agriculture as they didn't know anything, so they used to do agriculture, then animal husbandry हो गया, fishing हो गया, तो ये सब उनके main, they were all busy with this only. But now talking about the people living in the modern village, besides agriculture तो वो करते ही है, but besides agriculture, animal husbandry, fishing, and many other activities are undertaken by the villagers with the help of the machine. As we know, we are a developed one. Some जो development, technology and everything. So they do agriculture. They also carry animal husbandry, fishing. ये सब चीजें भी होती है. But along with that, they also take different types of activity by the villagers with the help of the machine. So I hope everything is clear to you regarding this. Okay. More about this chapter number 7, that shelter from shelters to village settlement has been completed. I hope everything is clear to you, and we will end the lecture here. See you all in the next lecture. Fine. Bye everyone.